Hey guys, welcome back. Today, let's solve another HackerRank problem. Today, we'll be solving the counting valley problem. So, without wasting much time, let's start. So, I won't be reading the entire question, but rather will explain all the important points we need to know while trying to implement this problem. All right, so imagine you're going on a hiking trip and you count the number of steps you make. Let the number be, say, n. You can either travel uphill or downhill. If you receive a U, you go uphill, and if you receive a D, you go downhill. Also, you always start and end your hiking trip at sea level. Sea level is just another way of saying your ground zero. It's like a zero reference, which we'll be using to know if we are above or below sea level. Next, in the question, they have given us two definitions. The first explains what a mountain is. So you're climbing a mountain if you start at sea level and you start with a step up, making you go above sea level, and finally you end your journey back to sea level with a step down. The next part explains what a valley is. A valley starts at sea level with a step down. You descend into the valley and you successfully traverse the valley once you ascend back to sea level with a step up. So if you're given the number of steps he takes and what each step is, as in if a particular step is a U or a D, then your job is to calculate how many valleys the person has traversed in the entire journey. It isn't that difficult. If it was the question you guys had trouble with, then you can pause the video here and try to solve the problem on your own. If you need help with the logic part, then keep watching the video. If you're at this point wondering why you need to know what a mountain is, or why the question even defines what a mountain is, if they're only asking you to calculate the valleys, then yes, you're absolutely right in thinking so. We don't have to bother about the mountains. All we need to do is devise some method to count the number of valleys that are being traversed. So from the question, it is clear that the valleys are traversed always when you descend below sea level and come back to the sea level. But how do we know if you are above or below sea level? We need to keep track of the steps which take us either up or down. One way to do this is to change some variable, say a variable called level, depending on whether you receive a U or a D. If we receive a U to go up, we can increment the value of level by 1. And if we receive a D to go down, we can decrement the value of level by 1. Level obviously will start from 0 because we are starting at sea level. So that will keep track of whether we are going up or down and to what extent we are doing so. Alright, so now we need to figure a way to determine if we are traversing a valley or not. If you look at the definition of the valley, it mentions that while traversing a valley, we always start with a D, which takes us below sea level, and ends with a U, which brings us back to sea level. If you inspect this more closely, it doesn't really matter how you start. As long as your last step is a U, and after this step, if you reach sea level, then it means that you've successfully traversed a valley. So taking that into consideration, let's finalize the logic part. The first point you have to remember is we use U to increment our level and D to decrement our level to keep track of the current height from sea level. Next, we have to check if after we receive a U, whether or not our level variable is equal to 0. If it is so, that means we have traversed a valley. That is all for the logic part. If you think you have figured it out, go ahead and try to solve it on your own. If not, then let's move on to the implementation part. So this is our function over here. We have two inputs, the size of the array or the number of steps, and the integer array itself. As an output, we will be returning an integer value which denotes the number of valleys. So let's start. First, we declare I, then initialize a variable level to 0. This will hold the level we are at from sea level. Finally, we initialize another variable, valley, to 0 as well. Valley will be our return variable. So first things first, we need to know in which level we are at for each iteration of the for loop. So inside the for loop, if we encounter a D in our array, then we decrement our level variable, and if not, then it means that we have encountered a U and we increment our level variable instead. Next, the important part, if the current value of the array is a u and also the count variable is a 0, it means that we have ascended from a valley and reached sea level, and hence we increment the valley variable. With that, our loop is complete, and so is our function after we return the valley variable. Let's copy this and paste it in the website. Like I said in my previous video, I prefer to write the code in the usual text editor which I use, which is gedit. I'm going to go ahead and submit. And we have passed all the test cases. Thank you guys for watching. If this video was of any help to you guys, please do consider giving this video a like, and also do consider subscribing to this channel, as it will help me make more such content for you guys in the future. I'll make sure to see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care.